This week on Hermitcraft.
Yeah, I'm already up to something. You know it.
Yeah.
Wait. What? I expected it to explode.
No, you have to take out the bottom block, or you have to shoot them. Do you want to do it at the same time? No, not the bottom block. They're like mercenaries. It's like watching like paratroopers dropping down onto my face.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is ZloyXP, and as the blood moon of Halloween gets closer and closer, the hermits and the server are working on their costumes. Biffa, for example, has decided to go as a dunce head, it seems, because the tag bestowed upon him by False last week has not yet been slapped onto anyone else. In fact, after all the comments he got about breaking the rules of tag, he's holding onto it more tightly than ever.
First of all, my humble apologies. I've been forgetting to carry these things around in my inventory. You're supposed to always keep them in your inventory.
Scar tries out not one, but two Halloween costumes, going from Bob the half-creeper, half-building inspector to the star of Teen Wolf. And the server as a whole is getting prankier and prankier. You want the spooks? You can't handle the spooks!
They can get the
So let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Is that like armor stand in sand or something? How did you do that? It was an accident.
Starting with Zombie Cleo as she chops her way through the Phantom Hunt competition, with the axe brought to her by Azuma and an unintentional vacation brought to you by seasonal sickness. Cleo has been dominating the scoreboard for the entire week. It's really no surprise that she's quite competent at dealing with screaming terrors. She's a teacher.
Most of the time. The other times it's because I'm doing this.
On a brighter note, a fat paycheck for the armor stand services comes in from both Jevin and Impulse, and Cleo is all too happy to throw some of it back into the economy, going on one last shopping spree before the ConVex get there. The only other hermit dedicating serious time and effort to phantom killing this week is Biffa, who buys a bunch of cobwebs from Joe Hills' Halloween store, and instead of decorating his base for the season, takes them up to his AFK fishing farm and uses them to ensnare any murder bats that swoop his way.
Ow, he bit me, I got too close.
He also makes it to the shopping district pre-pranking on a search for dye so he can try out all the different flavours of glazed terracotta. But yes, there was indeed a pranking, possibly even the pranking, or perhaps the Bride of Prankenstein. As soon as Azuma was done putting in the last carpets to spawn-proof his kelp shop, the ConVex came out of the undercut and pranked everything there was to prank in the shopping district. The aforementioned kelp shop, for example, has been transformed into a quad witch head with the roof serving as a hat. Almost sad that it's the only quad witch anything on the server so far.
You know what a superpower is?
What?
Witchcraft.
The statue of Hermity gets a stylish mask, Ren's log shop was filled with candy, the pickle shop became a gremlin, a Grianmelin if you will, and of course the bumbo on the spoiler shop went full bumpkin on us.
It's Halloween time, Hermit. It's not Easter time. I am confused. Although this might be like a trick-or-treat basket, maybe? I have no idea.
But as Scar and Cub manage their biggest mischief of the season, there's still a week more left till actual Halloween, which leaves plenty of time to strike back, especially since their personal projects got a bit of attention this week. Cubfan, for one, has an entire golf course worth of free real estate at the moment, spanning over plenty of space and even different biomes for you to bogey about. One hole in particular intrudes on a village and is also high on top, providing plenty of houses and trees to help you waste your shot. Good Times with Scar, on the other hand, has been struck with conscience when, building his smouldering volcano base right after vandalizing public property, he suddenly realized that he might be the baddie of this story.
And I came to the conclusion that we've truly made the greatest Minecraft super villain lair here.
Unsurprisingly, the only change it prompts is him now calling his volcano base a lair. A much more productive application of the spirit of the season is Wells Knight starting construction of a proper nether hub for the server.
Look at this. Got a little bit of a Greco-Roman, Greco-Ramen.
All the depth and aesthetics were very much worth waiting 3 months for Wells to noodle about. We got a nether hub with a little more flavour because apparently they decided that all the communal services of the season should be done in quartz. Thankfully, there's plenty of that right at the build site. Tango Tech dips his toes into the depths of Heck this week, aiming to provide the server, but mostly himself, with a double spawner Blaze farm. The design uses a lot of digging and pink glass to trick Blaze AI into literally lining up to get slaughtered. Regardless of whether it's a direct reply to the plight of last week's TFC, it's a great farm and fuel source to have around.
I didn't even fall in the lava once. I'm so proud of myself.
This week's TFC is distracted from the lack of blaze rods, mostly by the silverfish raining down onto him from the ceiling.
And then, of course, oh god, I hate those things.
The underground park in Vault 6 needs an artificial sky, and a grey one just won't do. But when he's not working out the bugs, TFC breaks out the polished diorite for a perimeter walkway and the Vault-Tech logo square in the middle of the area. Since the blazes have failed in the Tango killing minigame, seriously, the guy didn't even die once, Impulse has to take care of this himself. And as the reigning champion of events like this one, having won the Kill Doc contest in Season 3, Impulse decides he is going to do this by halves. As in, he's going to half-kill Tango a bunch of times before actually putting the nail in his coffin. We don't want to spoil it, in case Tango somehow ends up watching this, but we'll just say there are lots of nether mobs involved already.
The contest doesn't actually start for like another week and a half. I'm not just gonna do one thing. I've decided I'm gonna make it kind of the Rube Goldberg type experience.
Zedaf takes an alternative route and promises to take Tango out based solely on mind games. As the rules state, the victim is allowed to press one button before being consumed by the Doomsday device. What Zedaf plans to add to the mix is the ability to choose which button to press. This one would be impossible to recap without spoilers, but thankfully there is nothing really to spoil yet. It's not really a plan, it's like 12% of a plan.
It's barely a concept.
Zed does have a plan for his jungle base though, if that's what you're here for. Long before Mojang adds the first baobab into the game, Zedaf is planning to live in a girthy jungle tree, the heights of which would be traversable both by water columns and slime block super jumps. Screaming like George of the Jungle is entirely optional.
And glide away into a tree nearby. This is going to be my little den, right? This is going to be my woo den. My den of woo, this will be.
But the future of transport may be in the hands of Doc M, who collects a bunch of TNT and lava, but doesn't plan on using any of it to kill Tango. Instead, he creates an ender pearl cannon outside the stock exchange, using a timed TNT explosion to propel an ender pearl to a very exact location. The early pearls go so far he has to fly over and load the chunks before it actually lands, but with a little more testing and some target practice on Azuma, it becomes a teleport entrance to his ender pearl shop, with the only downside being that you need an ender pearl to get there, so he has to give them away for free before anyone can buy them. The redstone magic doesn't end there, because the high security vault at the back of the stock exchange gets a second redstone door and a combination lock that involves playing note blocks in a specific sequence.
You know, you cannot just spam here and randomly press buttons and hopefully you'll get it.
This leaves only the Scrooge McDuck Diamond Swimming Pool and their admin offices left for Rendog to design. And it's a good thing this project might be wrapping up soon, because Ren still has the huge task of completing the Hermitcraft rail network. There's significant progress there though, with the Grand Central Station all but finished, and Ren having recruited False Symmetry to design the station terminus in Pirate Land. Which she does, with additional armor stands no less.
This guy's sorting out the gold stuff, he'll probably be holding some gold ingot. This guy here is sort of just pointing off into the distance for now. There'll probably be a bit more lore along with this at some point, but for now I think this is good. I really like this guy and this guy, and the gold guy looks pretty good too.
Despite doing her darndest to make it look more like a station and less like a house, you can tell just by the episode title how that ended up. But the customers of the stock exchange might find themselves in the wrong shop if they don't pay enough attention. It just so happens that the entrance into Azuma's wool shop looks like the younger brother to the facade of Hermitcraft's very own Wall Street. But the main theme of Azuma's week seems to be his plot world. Not only are the ice farm designs from it piling up and each one better than the last, but he's working on a new shop, planned to go into business sometime next week, built in a style picked up, once again, from his plot world community. It is a solid attempt to make granite and red brick look good in a build, but unlike Season 4's Logwarts, it's the addition of pink concrete powder that ties the randomized block pattern together. Much helped by the texture tweaks of the new default, no doubt.
because it just looks a little bit odd. But that's the only odd thing, really. Everything else has come together ever so well.
Joe Hills has been enjoying new textures of coral blocks and how good they look as tombstones in his church graveyard. While the dead coral is currently the only dead thing in there, he's laid some chests to rest and set up a mausoleum tomb, along with a place for visitors to sit and contemplate how dead they aren't. And if you thought we'd seen the last of Azuma in today's recap, Iskall is here to prove you wrong.
The pressure... I haven't seen this in a couple of hours. Oh, the pressure just got too high and it turned into a Bumbleboid? Bumbleboid, don't I?
A questionable wizard tower built as the entrance to his quad spider spawner briefly becomes an Azuma-esque Bumbo before it gets rebuilt into something a little more sensible. This new tower is fitted with a spiral staircase down to a throne room where the Spider King can AFK for string and enjoy the ambience of all these statues holding candles.
Now, Exuma doesn't really like Bumbos, so it's not a good thing, but yeah, it's really, really weird.
If that wasn't Lord of the Ringsy enough for you, Iskall straight up turns Grian's base into the Tower of Sauron, using a whole heap of magma blocks to create a burning eye suspended between its 3 spires.
Ow, gonna take lots of damage. Ow, hot coals, hot coals, hot coals, hot coals. Now that you see everything, thank you. Iskall! And a diamond. I mean, it's worth it for the diamond, am I right?
The fantasy wars continue when Iskall returns to his iceberg base and decides to start on a sandstone kingdom in the nearby desert, perpetually at war with their frozen neighbours. So basically it's like the MobaLisa without any of the gameplay functionality. Ijevin comes around to AFK spider farming too, once he properly tires of getting poisoned for no good reason. Once functionally complete, it's interior time. No dolphin highways unlike in his Skelly grinder, but at least there's a nice spider face on the ground above it so you can easily find the spot when flying by via Elytra. Still, you might not want to do that, for the archers are ever watchful on the newly erected keep walls, and you know what Ijevin does with unwanted AFKers. But you're welcome to use the trading stalls right outside the castle walls, selling pitchforks and siege equipment, no doubt. For the more modern tenant, there's a luxurious apartment in the side of the underwater coral ravine, but don't hold your breath for it. And finally, there's Grian and Mumbo, whose meeting this week had an unexpected third participant in the form of the Jingler.
I feel like this was a message for the future. And see, I've thrown out all my blocks and now I can't get out of it. Hey, Iskall, can you come and kill me, please?
There's still no word on who the Jingler is, by the way, and we watch everybody's YouTube videos, so this is officially the best kept secret Hermitcraft has ever known.
So this kind of works out in a weird way. Mumbo doesn't get the full effect, meaning I can still meet him today. And, well, yeah, apart from having to fix this, no harm, no foul, I hope.
Once Grian had successfully unjingled the meeting room and Mumbo had taken down his weird kelp farm tower in exchange for a Blade Runner style ziggurat, the Architechs finally sit down in their completely white room, which is totally not where the Architect scene from the Matrix movies took place. Grian, do your research. They finally decide to make improvements to each other's bases, with Mumbo fixing the spaghetti redstone Grian has set up behind the scenes, and Grian adding accents and stylistic touches to Mumbo's monochrome metropolis.
There's some shoes, wear them.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it massively. I'm changed, I'm a changed man.
After which, Mumbo returns to his storage system to plot out where everything's going to go and drafts some terraforming ideas for the island below. The plan is to get Scar involved with the final product, but he's going to have to join the queue. And that's just about it for this week's recap, except to cover who we're going to recap tag this week. With Stress Monster still away, we've decided that the next victim...
Hey guys, Zloy here. I'm the one who edits these recaps together, which puts me in the perfect position to act behind his back. Now, I told Pixelriffs who we will be recap tagging this week. I lied. Instead, me and you guys will be recap tagging Pixelriffs. Right now, follow the link in the description and the iCards of this video to a video of Pixelriffs building a giant boat right next to an iceberg biome. And comment, draw me like one of your French girls or something else from the Titanic movie. Remember, he has no idea that this segment of the video exists, and that just makes it so much funnier.
I can't wait to see the reaction from this one. So that is going to be it for this week's recap. Our writer is ZloyXP, and my name is Pixel Riffs. Don't forget to leave a like before you go and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.